What we're going to be going into right now is what I'm calling my master goal book. I have been using an electronic tablet. It's called Supernote for the last several years, and it's been an incredible tool for its purposes up to now, but I'm switching over to a paper solution, which I discussed in a previous video. My hope for you with this video is if you are a person that has many interests like I do, you can win a little bit of confidence that yes, it is possible to tackle multiple interests all at the same time, and you should, just strategically, having a systematic process for prioritizing your time and your tasks and assigning focuses to the different seasons of your life, whether on a larger scale or on the more micro scale, like monthly and weekly and daily planning. Having a tool in place that enables you to organize all of these things that you have interest in and that you care about is the secret. It's like the underpinning of consistent progress across all of those areas, which also in turn creates confidence rather than that feeling of overwhelm and insecurity. So I want to share with you my tool, an overview of how it works and how I use it. And even if you don't exactly replicate everything, you'll hopefully get some ideas for how you can customize your own system to optimize it for your own interests and management of them thereof. All right, so here it is. I call this my master goal book. I got this particular journal online. I had to get it online because I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for at Walmart. It's from SUNY. I've never heard of that brand before, but they had what I need, so that's what I went with. The first thing that I needed space in order to have, more room to write, obviously, but also on the spiral notebooks that they have at Walmart for the bullet journals, I found that the spiral thing didn't have enough room for my pencil, so I couldn't fit it in there. Now I can. When you open it up, you've got 5 different sections. It's dividers, kind of like you can get with a 3-ring binder, but the sections, instead of for a 3-ring binder, is I have a journal, which allows me to avoid that opening and closing that a 3-ring binder makes me do. So that's really awesome. It's not just annoying, but also makes noise, and it's just, so I don't like that. I've got several different sections within the Master Goal book, and I use the different sections for different components of the overall planning system. The very first one, the very first page, I read this every morning, is just something inspirational, something that inspires you and something that's going to continue to inspire you day after day after day after day. Of course, you can change this. You can rip out pages and put in new ones, or you can erase and put it back or put something new. But for me, I wanted something that I know, I'm confident it will last, it will mean something to me. It says Audentes Fortuna Ievat. That's Latin for fortune favors the bold. This is the original Latin phrase from that ancient Roman mythology or history. I don't know exactly the details of it, but it sounds cool, and it's Latin, and it's just freaking awesome. Identity. The very next page, I also read this every morning, is a statement of who you are, who you want to be. It can be it's a mixture of both an aspirational identity and a realized identity that put together. That's really, I feel like, the most potent, because you're combining the truth with what you're aiming for. And it's essentially an affirmation that's designed to reinforce to yourself every morning by simply reading it and mixing that reading with faith, who it is you want to be, who it is that you are, who it is you're becoming. That's the next thing that I read every morning. And then finally, in the last part of the first section of the Master Goal book, is the long-term vision. And I have 3 components to this. I've got health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships are sort of the 3 pillars in my mind of an overall healthy, wealthy relationship, wealthy life. And so I simply list my goals. I've picked a particular year. 2036 in this case is about 10 years out. I'm recording this in in August of 2025, so it's a little more than 10 years. But I chose 2036 because that's the year that I turned 40, and that was just for that reason, a nice even round number to aim for, and I can aim for that particular year and have that year in the forefront of my mind every time I open this journal. That's the year that I'm thinking about. That's the year that I'm envisioning. What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my life to look like? Health, with respect to health, with respect to wealth, and with respect to relationships. The second section of the book is a similar breakdown of goals. This time, though, I'm looking more in the near term, not the micro term, which we'll get to more like weekly, daily, and everything, but near term. So short-term goals of 1 year or more, maybe a handful of years. Essentially, the way that I do it is I take it 1 year at a time. For the current year, these are my goals. For the next year, these are my goals. This is where I want to be. The following year, this is where I want to be. And I can see sort of like desired progress, the stepping stones that I want to be taking, and the milestones I want to achieve by the times that I want to achieve them. Some people, if you prefer, you can, instead of doing it year by year like this, you can have just simply a more near-term goals section, and you would write for each, you would ignore these different sections of it, and you would just do with bullet points, I have da 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 da, so and so forth by the end of da da da. I earn da 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 by the end of da da da. I can da 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 by so so each bullet point would have a date or a year instead of it breaking down like this. I just find this is helpful for me in organizing and kind of seeing my progress over time, or imagining and envisioning, planning my progress over time. But either way, it's the practice of doing this kind of thing itself that's the value. Don't overthink it. I have definitely done that by mistake before. The next piece is an annual overview, an overview of the current year or the coming up year, depending on where you are in the year. If you're near the end of the year, you're probably doing the following year. I have 3 focuses, which grounds me in just a handful of things that I want to be the most important things that I focus on that year, the things that I spend the most time and energy investing in. And then my goals, I haven't actually finished this layout because I haven't decided whether I'm going to put the annual layout in this same section with the broken down milestones, the shorter term goals, or if I'm going to put it in its own section, or if I'm going to combine it with some other one. But for now, I'm outlining it generally just to have it. I've got the goals here. I can do 2 different columns, and I figure on the left side I can do the goals that I definitely want to get done, I definitely want to achieve, and then on the right side, more optional / bonus kind of goals. The next section, the third section of the Master Goal book, is my monthly template, my monthly overview. On the left side, and this is one of the benefits of having paper and a journal instead of the Supernote, I talked about this in that previous video, I can see 2 different pages at the same time, which might not seem like that big of a deal, but in using a tablet, even if it were an iPad, I didn't have an iPad, which would have been faster than my Supernote, although Supernote has some advantages over the iPad too. But regardless, whether I have Supernote or whether I have iPad or some other tablet, if I can only see 1 page at a time, I am forced to navigate with the navigation tools back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Whereas with paper, I can overview and changing between the 2 views, habits and August goals, the monthly goals, for example, in this case, is just a matter of darting my eyes back and forth, which is, instantaneous. So yeah, anyway, just kind of a side note. On the left side, I've got my August focuses, just like my year. I have 3 main focuses, and it doesn't have to be 3, but I just cap myself out at 3. I don't want to go more than 3. I have the focuses for the month, and I have the goals, same thing. All of the goals that I definitely want to get done on the left, the optional bonus kind of goals on the right, and then I have a little dashed line here that allows me some space for deadlines as well. That way, even within the month, I know if I don't write a deadline, generally that basically just means I want to get it done by the end of the month. But if I need to get something done sooner than that, then I'll write a date so that I have some guidance as to where to prioritize. And I'll actually do that same thing in the last section, which I'll get to here in just a second. But before that, we've got on the right side, we've got the August habits. This is my new habit tracker. Shout out to, I forget his name, but I'll link him down in the description and I'll put it on the screen. I got this idea from him. The layout and everything was designed by him as far as I know. And I just sort of adapted it to my own style. I've got the habits that I want to be focusing on up here. Each column is a habit that I want to keep track of. For me right now, I've got read for 30 minutes a day, read for 60 minutes a day if I decide to do the 60 instead of the 30, and then post to Instagram because I'm trying to make a habit of that. I'm definitely not used to it, but that's what a habit tracker is for, right? Instead of down here, I've got all of the days of the month. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead of writing 1 Sunday, 2 Monday, or I guess this would be Saturday, and then 3 Sunday, 4 Monday, 5 Tuesday, or writing T or whatever. Instead of having to do that, I save myself some space and some writing, and I give myself a visual by writing these dashed lines. These dashed lines across the page here they separate the weekends from the work weeks. And so the weekend would be this little 2-day strip here, and then I've got a 5-day strip, and then a 2-day strip, and then a 5-day strip, and so on. That gives me a visual to see where I'm at, and I don't have to write the day of the week for that reason. Finally, the last section, which is the 4th section. There are 5 sections technically, but right now I'm not using the last one. I figure I can just have some extra room for as I work through the daily and the weekly, because these pages will probably be getting ripped out pretty quickly. At least, I mean, not once a day because I can fit multiple days, but I figure once every 4 or 5 days or so. But let's start over here. We got on the left side, the left side is the weekly, the right side is the daily. On the left side, the weekly layout, the way that I do it is I put squares around, and I write, all of the days of the week that I'm aiming for in a particular window of time. So it might be a work week, it might be a weekend. Those are the most common. But for example, if I have a vacation, a winter break, for example, like from school, I work for a school district, a local school district. And if we have spring break, that's a full 9 days. I might put 9 squares over here versus it's also possible doing winter break or Christmas break. I could do, I think it's like 14 days, and I don't know if I could fit all of that across here, but maybe I would do 2 columns or 2 rows. Something like that. And that way, it's just nice to have a visual of how long a window of time is that I'm aiming for a particular set of goals, and I can make those goals accordingly. The goals for the week are listed underneath, and then I've got days that I want to get them done by. Again, same as the monthly. In order to prioritize which ones I want to do in which order, I give myself the deadline of in the weekly sort of view case, I give myself a date of that week that I want to have it done. And then on the right side, we've got daily, and it's very similar to what we've already seen. Instead of having the day of the week as the way that I prioritize, I simply use a numbering system. I want to do this one first, and then this one second, and then this one third, and then this one fourth, etc. It gives me an ability to prioritize. Brian Tracy speaks about this. And then I've got my notation that means different things. So for example, I've got the double slash. The double slash to me means optional. It's like a bonus action or a task that is, it would be awesome if I could get to it, but if I'm not able to, it's totally fine. When I complete a task, I strike it out. And when I don't complete a task for whatever reason, it could be that I ran out of time, or if I just chose not to do it, it wasn't that important to me anyway, or after all, then I'll strike it out still, but I'll do so with a squiggly line instead. That's just the way that I've always done it. A regular bullet point means a regular task. Oh, and then this last one, I almost forgot to mention this one. A circle, an open circle, to me means make progress on a task. It means you don't have to finish it today, but break ground, make some progress. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you got some value out of the video.